Welcome to Principles of Marketing. We will be looking at Chapter 15, Marketing Communications. Chapter 15 learning outcomes include discussing the role of promotion in the marketing mix, describing the communication process, explaining the goals and tasks of promotion, discussing the elements of the promotional mix, discussing the AIDA concept and its relationship to the promotional mix, discussing the concepts of integrated marketing communication, and describing the factors that affect the promotional mix. Make sure you read the chapters and review all module content. Let's get started. Promotional strategy is closely related to the process of communication. Communication is the process by which meanings are exchanged or shared through a common set of symbols. Marketers communicate information about the firm and its products to the target market and various publics through promotional programs. Communication can be divided into two categories: interpersonal communication and mass communication. Interpersonal communication is direct, face-to-face communication between two or more people. When communicating face-to-face, people see other person's reaction and can respond almost immediately. Mass communication involves communicating a concept or a message to a large audience. A company advertises is generally does not personally know the people with whom they're trying to communicate with. The company often cannot respond immediately to customers' reactions to its message. Any clutter from the competitor's message or other distractions in the environment can reduce the effectiveness of mass communication efforts. Marketers are both senders and receivers of messages. As senders, the marketers attempt to inform, persuade, and remind the target market to take action compatible with the need to promote the purchase of goods and services. As receivers, marketers listen to the target market in order to develop the appropriate messages, adapt existing messages, and spot new communication opportunities. Most marketing communication is a two-way communication. The sender is the originator of the message in the communication process. For an advertisement, press release, or social media campaign, the sender is the company or the organization itself. Encoding is the conversion of the sender's ideas and thoughts into a message, usually in the form of words or signs. The basic principle of encoding is that what the source says is not what matters, but what the receiver hears. One way conveying a message the receiver will hear properly is to use concrete words and pictures. The message transmission requires a channel, a voice, radio, newspaper, computer, smartphone, or other communication media. A facial expression or gesture can also serve as a channel. Reception occurs when the message is dictated by the receiver and enters his or her frame of reference in a two-way conversation. Reception is normally high. When the message is recommended from friends, the reception is high as well. The desired receiver may or may not direct the message when it is mass communicated because most medias are cluttered by noise. Noise can be anything that interferes, distorts, or slows down the transmission of information. Marketers communicate their messages through channels to customers or receivers who will decode the message. It's important to note that there may be multiple receivers as consumers share their experience and their recommendations online through social networks and types of other social medias. Receivers can easily share new information with friends and followers on social media, and those new receivers can then share information as well. This leads to a more diverse interrelationship between sender and receivers of social media messages. Decoding is the interpretation of the language and symbols sent by the source through a channel. Common understanding between communicators or common frame of reference is required for effective communication. Even though a message has been received, it may not necessarily be properly decoded. because of selective exposure, distortion, or retention. When people receive a message, they tend to manipulate it to reflect their own biases, needs, experiences, and knowledge. Differences in age, social class, education, culture, ethnicity can lead to miscommunication. Because people do not always listen or read carefully, they can easily misinterpret what is said or written. Bright colors and bold graphics have been shown to increase consumers' comprehension of marketing communications. Marketers targeting consumers in foreign countries may also worry about translation and possible miscommunication of their promotional messages by other cultures. In interpersonal communication, the receiver's response to a message is called feedback. Feedback may be verbal, but it can also be nonverbal and nodding, smiling, frowning, or gesturing. Feedback can also occur digitally, as in Facebook likes, comments, or comments on blog posts, or messages sent through websites, contact forms. Indirect feedback enables mass communicators to decide whether to continue, modify, or drop a message. With the increase with online advertising, marketers are able to get more feedback than ever before. Using web analytics, marketers can see how long customers stay on a website and which pages they view. The internet and social media have had an impact on the communication model in two major ways. First, consumers are now able to become senders. People that make casual comments on Facebook or Yelp are essentially senders. Second, the communication model shows feedback channels as primarily impersonal and numbers driven. The ultimate goal of any promotion is to get someone to buy a good or service, or in case of a nonprofit organization, to take some action. Classic model for reaching promotional goals is called the AIDA concept. The acronym AIDA stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. This model proposes that consumers respond to marketing message in a cognitive or thinking, affective feeling, or cognitive viewing sequence. First, a promotion manager must focus on attracting a consumer's attention. Next, a good sales presentation, demonstration, or advertisement creates interest in the product, and then by illustrating how the product's features will satisfy the consumer's needs, arouses a desire. Finally, a special offer or a strong closing sales pitch may be used to obtain the purchase or the action. The AIDA concept assumes that promotion propels consumers along the following four steps in the purchase decision process. Attention. The advertiser must first gain the attention of the target market. A firm cannot sell something if the market does not know that the good or service exists. Interest. Simple awareness of the brand seldom leads to a sale. Next step is to actually create interest in the product you are selling. Desire. You must convince the customer that the product is the best solution for their desire. And action. You must continue to advertise to get the consumer to take action. Most buyers involve a high involvement purchase situation, pass through the four stages of the AIDA model on the way to making a purchase. The promoter's task is to determine where on the purchase ladder most of the target consumers are located and design a promotion plan to meet their needs. The model suggests that promotional effectiveness can be measured in terms of consumers progressing from one stage to the next. However, the order of the stage in the model, as well as whether consumers go through all steps, has been much debated. This table shows the relationship between the promotional mix and the AIDA model. It shows that although advertising does have an impact in the later stages, it's most useful in gaining attention for goods or services. By contrast, personal selling reaches fewer people at first. Salespeople are more effective at creating customer interest for merchandise or a service and creating desire. Public relations' greatest impact is as a method of gaining attention for companies, goods, or service. Many companies can attract attention and build goodwill by sponsoring a community event that benefits a worthy cause. Sponsorships project a positive image of the firm and its products into the mind of the consumers and the potential customers. Sales promotion's greatest strength is creating strong desire and purchase intent. Coupons and other price-off promotions are techniques used to persuade customers to buy a new product. Frequent buyer sales, promotion programs popular among retailers allow customers to accumulate points or dollars that can be redeemed for goods. Frequent buyer programs tend to increase purchase intent and loyalty and encourage repeat purchases. Social media are a strong way to gain attention and interest in a brand, particularly if content goes viral. It can then reach a massive audience. Social media are also effective in engaging with customers and enabling companies to maintain interest in the brand if properly managed. Ideally, marketing communication from each promotional mix element should be integrated. The message reaching the consumer should be the same regardless of whether it is from an advertisement, a salesperson in the field, a magazine article, a Facebook fan page, or a coupon in the newspaper. Consumers do not think in terms of 5 elements of the promotion: personal, selling, advertising, sales promotion, public relations, and social media. Instead, they consider everything to be an ad. Fortunately, many marketers neglect this fact when planning promotional messages and fail to integrate their communication efforts from one element to the next. The most common rift typically occurs between personal selling and the other elements of the promotional mix. The integrated marketing communication, the IMC, is careful coordination of all promotional messages: traditional advertising, direct marketing, social media, interactive, public relations, sales promotions, personal selling, event marketing, and other communications for a product or service to ensure the consistency of the messages at every contact point where a company meets the consumer. Timing of promotional activities is coordinated, and the results of each campaign are carefully monitored to improve future use of the promotional mix tools. The IMC concept has been growing in popularity for 5 reasons. First, the proliferation of thousands of media choices beyond the traditional television has made promotion a more complex task. Instead of promoting a product just through mass media options like TV or magazines, promotional messages today can appear in a variety of sources. Further, the mass marketing has also fragmented. More selectively segmented markets and an increase in niche marketing have replaced the traditional broad market groups that marketers promoted in years past. Finally, marketers have slashed their advertising spending in favor of promotional techniques that generate immediate sales response and those that are more easily measured, such as direct marketing. Online advertising has earned a bigger share of the budget, as well as its measurability. Promotional mixes vary a great deal from one product and one industry to the next. Normally, advertising and personal selling are used to promote goods and services. These primary tools often support and supplement by sales promotion. Public relations helps develop a positive image for the organization and the product line. Social media have been used more for consumer goods, but business-to-business marketers are increasingly using these medias. A firm may choose not to use all 5 promotional elements in its promotional mix, or may choose to use all of them in a varying degrees. The particular promotional mix chosen by a firm for a product or service depends on several factors: the nature of the product, the stage in the product life cycle, target market characteristics, the type of buying decisions, funds available for promotion, and whether a push or pull strategy will be used. Characteristics of the product itself can influence the promotional mix. A business product are often custom tailored to the buyer's exact specifications. They are often not well suited for mass promotion. Therefore, producers of most business goods rely more heavily on personal selling than on any advertising. But advertising still serves a purpose in the promotional mix. Advertising in trade media can also help locate potential customers for the sales force. Because consumer products generally are not custom made, they do not require the selling efforts of the company representative who can tailor them to the user needs. Consumer goods are promoted mainly through advertising or social media to create a brand familiarity. TV and radio advertising, consumer-oriented magazines, and increasingly the internet and other highly targeted medias are used to promote consumer goods, especially non-durables. Sales promotion, the brand name, and the product's packaging about twice as important for consumer goods as the business products. Persuasive personal selling is important at the retail level for goods such as automotives and appliances. As a general rule, the cost or risk of buying and using a product or service increase personal selling become more important. Inexpensive items cannot support the cost of a salesperson's time and effort unless the potential volume is high. On the other hand, expensive and complex machinery, cars, new homes represent a considerable investment. Salesperson must assure buyers that they are spending their money wisely and not taking an undue financial risk. So, social risk is an issue as well. Many consumer goods are not products of great social importance. They do not reflect on the social position. The product stage in its life cycle is a big factor in designing a promotional mix. During the introduction stage, the basic goal of promotion is to inform the target audience that the product is available. Sales promotion encourages early trial of the product, and personal selling gets retailers to carry the product. When the product reaches the growth stage of the life cycle, the promotion blend may shift. Often a change is necessary because the different types of potential buyers are targeted. Although advertising and public relations continue to be a major element of the promotional mix, sales promotion can reduce because consumers need fewer incentives to purchase. The promotional strategy is to emphasize the product's differential advantage over the competitors. By this stage, the personal selling has usually succeeded in getting adequate distribution for products. As the product reaches maturity stage of its life cycle, competition becomes fiercer, and thus persuasive and reminder advertising are emphasized more strongly. Sales promotion comes back into focus as product sellers try to increase their market share. All promotion, especially advertising, is reduced as the product enters decline stage. Personal selling and sales promotion efforts may be maintained particularly at the retail level. A target market characterized by widely scattered potential customers, highly informed buyers, and brand loyal repeat purchasers generally require a promotional mix with more advertising and sales promotion and less personal selling. Often firms sell goods and services in markets where potential customers are hard to locate. Print advertising can be used to find them. The promotional mix also depends on the type of buying decision. For example, is it a routine decision or a complex decision? Advertising, especially sales promotion, are the most productive promotion tools to use for routine decisions. If the decision is neither routine nor complex, advertising and public relations help establish awareness for the goods or service. Online reviews are often important in this type of buying decision, as well as because consumers has any number of other consumers' reviews easily accessible. By contrast, consumers making complex buying decisions are more extensively involved. They rely on large decisions. They rely on large amounts of information to help them reach purchase decisions. Personal selling is most effective in helping these consumers' decisions. Money, or the lack thereof, may easily be the most important factor in determining the promotional mix. A small, undercapitalized manufacturer may rely heavily on free publicity if its product is unique. If the situation warrants a sales force, a financially strained firm may turn to manufacturer agents who work on commission basis with no advances or expense account. When funds are available to permit a mix of promotional elements, a firm will generally try to optimize its return on promotional dollars, while minimizing the cost per contact or the cost of reaching one member of the target market. In general, the cost per contact is very high for personal selling, public relations, and sales promotion, such as sampling and demonstrations. Given the number of people national advertising and social media reach, they have very low cost per contact. There are plenty of low-cost options available to companies without a huge budget. Many of these include online strategies and public relations efforts in which the company relies on free publicity. The last factor that affects the promotional mix is whether a push or pull promotional strategy will be used. Manufacturers may use an aggressive personal selling and trade advertising to convince a wholesaler or retailer to carry and sell their merchandise. This is known as a push strategy. The wholesaler, in turn, must often push the merchandise forward by persuading the retailer to handle the goods. The retailer then uses advertising, displays, and other forms of promotion to convince the consumer to buy the pushed products. At the other extreme is a pull strategy, which stimulates consumers' demand to obtain product distribution, rather than trying to sell to the wholesaler. The manufacturer uses a pull strategy, focuses its promotional efforts on end consumers or opinion leaders. Social media and content marketing are the most recent examples of pull strategy. The idea is that the social media content does not interrupt a consumer's experience with the media. Instead, the content invites the consumers to experience it on social media or website. Consumer demand pulls the product through the channel of distribution. Heavy sampling, introductory consumer advertising, sense-off campaigns, and couponing are all part of pull strategies. I'd like to thank you so much for listening to this presentation. As always, if you had any questions, please reach out to me.